The first preview of Dune Awakening?
As a massive fan of survival games and Dune, I'll admit to being a bit skeptical about an open-world survival game that takes place on the famously barren planet of Arrakis. But after an hour-long presentation of the upcoming Dune Awakening, those concerns have disappeared entirely. Based on the hands-off showcasing of what's to come when this MMO survival game hits early access later this year, it certainly appears that developer Funcom has taken their hard-won learnings from the underrated Conan Exiles and applied it to this ambitious multiplayer world set in one of sci-fi's most beloved galaxies. Whether it was the impressively detailed character creation options, the intricate RPG systems filled with skill trees and craftables, or the absolute insanity of trying to outrun a Shai-Hulud or escape a massive sandstorm, Dune Awakening appears to be on track to become the sci-fi survival game I've always dreamt of, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
I'll be very curious to see what's going to happen with this game. I watched their event that they did, and I would say that my confidence went up after the event. But whenever somebody says they want to make an MMO like this, I just get kind of nervous. I'm excited. Yeah, I'll definitely try it.
Arrakis is a test. Few survive it.
How do you make a survival game set in an utterly desolate wasteland of sand? Well, according to Funcom, the answer lies in the hidden spaces of Arrakis. Described in Frank Herbert's novels, these hidden pockets of shade and refuge are home to life and microbiomes that will be altogether unfamiliar to those who have only seen the movies. But Dune Awakening hopes to lean pretty heavily on their existence to fill the massive desert with things for players to do. Whether that be finding a pocket of shelter to build a base delving into a cave.
The base building stuff I actually thought was really cool. Like, whenever they showed it before, it was better than what I had expected it to be.
Delving into a cave that's home to hostile creatures, or taking down remote enemy bases in search of loot and resources. In fact, the wide-open empty spaces filled with hot sand might be more of an asset.
You have air combat?
The wide-open empty spaces filled...
That's cool. That's really cool.
With hot sand might be more of an asset than a hindrance, as it allows for a heat stroke mechanic where players are punished for spending time in direct sunlight with some pretty devastating debuffs. Meaning players will instead need to dart from shelter to shelter, battling the elements as they explore the world and its many hidden spaces. Combined with the forever game of the floor is lava that is dodging sandworms of Arrakis, players will need to remain on the move constantly and develop strategies for managing their water reserves, protecting against the heat, and of course, engaging in the never-ending struggle for all-important spice. In one leg of the demo, players...
I wonder how big the servers for this game are going to be, because to me, that's always how I base how excited about an MMO I am or not. Is whenever I think of an MMO, I think of a lot of people in the same area, rather than 12 people, 64 people, what the hell, right?
Together to claim
I'm
a
very
massive
skeptical
deposit of spice, while keeping an eye out for the ever-looming threat of the Shai-Hulud, drawn to their activity in the desert, only to be unexpectedly overwhelmed by a sandstorm instead, which swallowed them and their precious cargo along with them.
That's cool.
In another section, a group of players work together to infiltrate a high-level facility filled with rare materials and dangerous enemies, making sure to harvest the blood of fallen baddies to replenish their rapidly depleting water reserves. Before the demo, I had a lot of questions about how a Dune survival game would even work without becoming extremely monotonous in short order. But by the end, I found myself wondering why in the heck someone hadn't made one sooner. Seeing all the clever ways Dune Awakening plans to make brilliant use of Dune's unique lore made me a believer.
I hope so.
Beyond the major things Dune Awakening aims to get right, the demo also included all these little details that took my hype to the next level, like how they showed off an incredibly detailed character creation.
I really like the framing of the way that the models in the game look, because they don't look hyper realistic, but they also don't look fake like Fortnite. They're in the middle, and I do actually like the way the design is. It almost looks like it. This is pretty close to almost Overwatch, But it's like a little bit more gritty than that.
Engine
I
that
like it.
included things like choosing your home planet and origin to decide some of your starting traits and aspects of your appearance, or how the in-depth skill trees and crafting system allowed you to drastically augment your playstyle from a telekinetic mentalist with a bag of supernatural tricks to run-and-gun soldiers with a bag of high explosives. As someone who has spent a good deal of time with the Dune tabletop RPG, dreaming up the characters I'd like to portray in that universe, this looks like it'll scratch an itch I've had for decades, and I absolutely cannot wait to get my hands on it when it hits early access later this year.
I mean, they need to just bring this out and let people play through it. Because, like, for example, I think that there's a lot of games that, like, these games live and die based off of their endgame systems and, like, how much you can do in the endgame systems. So that's what I really kind of care about. I bet no doubt the preview event that they did was really fun. The same as like the New World preview event was really fun. But it's like a lot of these games don't really show problems until like way later on in like the history of the game. Boring quickly? Yeah.
Arrakis is a test. Few survive it. But the humans...
The heat mechanics isn't too annoying to play around? Yeah, exactly.
awaken.
For more, check out our recent previews of Zenless Zone Zero and Fatal Fury City of Wolves. And for everything else, keep sandwalking with IGN.
Yeah. Is it raining? Yeah, it is. Oh, it's raining. Oh, shit. I didn't even know that. Would you consider yourself cautiously optimistic? Would I consider myself cautiously optimistic about this game? No, I would consider myself optimistic about the game. There's actually a lot of things in this game that seem really good, and I think that it could actually be good. And hearing one of the guys that was like in charge of the game was like really involved with like the books and everything, it seems like they're going to at least try to make the game like true to form for like what fans of the series want to have. They said it'll be out whenever it's ready too, which is good. Yeah, I mean, I remember they announced this like over a year ago, and like just now they're coming out with information about it. So I'm very happy. I mean, I just hope that they bring out content so I can actually play it and try it for myself, man.